So you want a pride of place. You want to feel like, hey, this may be my short-term home, but this is my home. You're motivating people a little bit with transient housing. It's not just cover. It's more than that. Do it in a proud way. It's almost sculptural. You can take pride in how you're displaying to your community. Each unit comes with a skylight to bring light into the space that's just really critical to what we do in all the architecture that we work on. They're as deserving of beauty as all the rest of us are. My name is David Fenster. I'm the principal and CEO of Modulus Architecture in San Jose, California. We're a small design-based firm. We do a wide range of work from residential to commercial, industrial, development. What we really wanted to focus on was the idea of, could we come up with a solution that was really focused on the transient problem, short term. Step up part of it is really giving somebody who's living in a tent is make that next day better, give them a step up in life. It's the step out part of it that complements the step up, where you're getting large groups of people, but they're coming for a transient situation. Coachella or Outlands, things like that, as these towns, these cities get overrun with lots of people in small areas who are coming to have a good time. What if that same transient solution we were using for the homeless was a transient solution that worked in that commercial aspect? The commercial part benefits the public part, the part where we're trying to help society. This is a solution that should be dropped into place. Some of these may be near parks. They may be in downtown areas. They may be off, side streets or things like that. You can create that transit solution in a way that isn't taking that person and relocating them. It's giving them safety. It's giving them security. It's giving them a good night's sleep. It's giving them a place to shower and clean up. Your step up in order to get to a better place in life. This one bases its structure on a shipping container, right? You want to be able to pick this thing up, locate it in a variety of different spots, be able to drop it into place easily, be able to pick it up easily. This map identifies pockets just in and around San Jose where there are larger groups of homelessness. Rather than trying to take these people away from where they're at, we're going to replace tents with our step-up unit. About 2 years ago, it came out on the news. They were not only talking about the quantity of people in the Bay Area that were homeless, but then they talked about the quantity of kids in the Bay Area that were homeless as well. When you're stuck in a really bad cycle, if you're going to sleep inside of a tent in an area where you don't feel safe and you don't feel secure, you've got your kids with you, how do you make tomorrow better than the day before? The basis of the unit itself is based around the proportions of a shipping container. And inside of the container is 4 units. And each unit is really meant for 1, 2, it could be 3 is pushing it a little bit, but primarily 1 to 2 persons. And it was, if you had a parent with a child or something like that, so that they can stay together. The 65 square foot per unit, that's primarily for a bathroom unit at the end. Thinking obviously that needs to be integral into each location it went, and we're investigating a couple of different ideas in regards to composting and whatnot, so we're not having to bring in big sewer lines and water lines and things like that. What you're seeing is, the entry on one unit is over here and the entry on the other unit is over here. They're all the same unit. This one's rotated 180 degrees, so we're not making various units to drop in as the pods to bring the cost of the individual pod down. You don't want to feel like you're crammed one on top of the other on top of the other. And so by rotating these around, what we're doing is we're putting distance between their doors. Each unit comes with a skylight to bring light into the space. That's just really key and critical to what we do in all the architecture that we work on. Everybody's deserving of that. We thought that was important to bring something to this transient unit that made you feel like life was okay, that space is beneficial, that they're as deserving of beauty as all the rest of us are. And light and shadow is one of those things that, to me, makes me smile, gives me hope, makes me feel like today is going to be a good day. We've got solar panels tied in here, which tie back to a battery unit, a Tesla Powerwall or similar module, such that this can be more carbon neutral and net zero.
A roof is maximizing 100% of its surface area, either for lighting the inside, now or later?
Exactly. This is an exploded axon, what you're seeing here, the various pods, how the skylights are tied into them, the container itself, the doors are opened up, and that creates the extra little bit of room that we need for the bathroom unit to slip into place. And then these are the HICo wood screens that you're seeing around here. HICo is a wood that we've used many times in lots of different projects. It's an acetylated wood, and so it's dimensionally stable. It's sustainably produced. What they're really doing is they're changing the chemical composition of the wood. So it's not like pressure treated wood that's being pumped full of chemicals. They use a process to change it at a cellular level. The wood is dimensionally stable. It holds up well to lots of different conditions. You've got different shapes and sizes that you can work with. The shipping container is a fantastic module, one of the strongest boxes mankind has ever built. But to put somebody inside of it, it's got to be done in a really thoughtful, gentle way. And we've used this screen to help identify each pod individually, to give a sense of poetry almost to the space and a sense of pride too. We want these people to feel proud to be in here, to feel like, hey, the world cares about me.
Bedroom pods would also be manufactured and sort of slid
Correct.
into place. So you'd sort of just take
Correct.
the 4 bedroom walls, I guess, and just slide them down the row and then cap it off with a bathroom at the end.
Exactly. How do we bring the services to the location instead of trying to put all of the people in one location and then bring the service to it? When you're inside of this 60, 65 square foot unit, you've got a different kind of life that you're living throughout the day. So how do we accommodate that? We want all of them to be the same. We want to kind of try and manufacture this. We've got storage up here, some hooks here for clothes that need to be hung. Each unit not only has the door with kind of a frosted colored glass entry, it's got a frosted colored glass window. So each one has a window to let light in to not feel so enclosed, which then ties back to the skylight that's up here as well. A couple of little shelves and areas to be able to hang things. You want to be able to, put a picture of your kid or something like that. Is the ability to be able to personalize it. Is a bench, bed, sofa combination. So it's a piece of furniture that we've designed. We've been working with a local artisan that we work with on a lot of our commercial projects. Quickly and easily, not pulling down a bed, not trying to manipulate too much, I can slide out a bed on here so that if it is a parent and a child, now each one gets to be able to stay in here together. You're able to project on here things that you would typically see on a screen or a TV. We're not trying to put a whole bunch of electronics and appliances in here, so that would then be projected on this wall, and this wall has got a really high glossy surface. We don't just go in there and sleep, right? Where there's lots of different things that we want to do in there. And just putting those things in the right place allows the space to remain clean, uncluttered, next to a building near downtown. And it's just kind of like, okay, how does it drop into place? How does it clean things up? How does it sit and work? And what you're seeing here, the HICo screen, this is the door at the end that gets you to the restroom. The idea that we had here actually was something that you see in Europe all the time on their public restrooms. There's a green, a yellow, a red light on the outside that tells you if it's in use, just using simple technologies that are already in place in order to be able to, that way you're coming down here and you don't even have to worry. You can tell whether that the bathroom's open for you to be able to use or not.
It's not like a public restroom, even though it's on the sidewalk. It'd be sort of, I guess, reserved for the residents that are
correct. San Jose City Hall, this is our Richard Meyer inspired building, and we have homeless issues down there as well. And so it's, even for a short period of time, how can this drop into place? How can this clean things up? From an architectural aspect, it's almost sculptural in what it's creating. And you don't walk by this and feel like ashamed. You can take pride in how you're displaying to the people of your community and your environment. We're going to do it in a proud way. And it helps beautify our city. It undulates in and around the window and the door. It's meant to create a really soft and gentle entry point and really feel like a beautiful sculptural element, or wherever it needs to drop into place. It's got a twofold benefit to what it's trying to do. Festival problem. What happens after a lot of these music events, and what do they look like when there's to be something not only that helps solve that problem, and step out is basically step up with a little bit more attitude. The HICo screen is blackened whether that be charred or a paint to the HICo finish, in order to give it a slightly different approach or presence to it. Everything's identical between the two of them. The only difference really is the exterior. There's a full height mirror here, which helps, if you're putting on a suit and tie and you're going to get a job interview, or you're prepping yourself to go out to a music event. Not super roomy, but you've got a sink, you've got a toilet, and you've got a shower. The door swings out. If somebody were to fall on the inside and there'd be a problem, you always want those doors to swing out so that they can be rescued more easily. There's Coachella, right? Drops into place. It can drop either in the middle of the vent. It can drop off onto the side. You've got a good shot here of, the power wall units at the end, which are tied into the solar panels, and everything's designed into the unit in a way that kind of everything fits. Screen can be modified based on, who's purchased or who's using the unit. Obviously, in this one, you're seeing 3 of them that have been located close by in order to accommodate more people. Put on the back of a 18-wheeler and be able to move from location to location. Not only does the code require, but it's only intelligent that you provide some cover over top of a door. We wanted to break down the presence of just a rectangular container and give it a little bit more accentuation and articulation. Strictly functional standpoint, a little bit of shade and a little bit of protection from the rain. So you want a pride of place. You want to feel like, hey, this may be my short-term home, but this is my home and I enjoy being in here, and I wake up feeling refreshed. I feel secure. You're motivating people a little bit with transient housing. It's not just cover. It's more than that. We took an approach of this thing needs to be off the grid. Most of all of those things already exist. The power walls, for example, they're not going to hold a lifetime of energy, but they're going to hold enough energy for these units using all LED approaches to things and low energy aspects. It's not like we've got refrigerators and washers and dryers and things like that we're trying to power. We're trying to provide enough power for lighting and a little bit of electronic, and that electronic is projected, so it's basically light. The power need is really low. 6 panels on here, so more than 1 panel per unit, and some to help supply the restroom unit. So we're drawing a lot of energy. And then from the utility need on the restroom, that becomes the more challenging one. One company, we've been talking with them out of Japan, that makes self-isolating, self-sustaining shower units in a way that they get serviced, every few months, I think. It does need to be serviced a little bit. And I think that just comes with anything like this, right? The solar panels need to be checked. The power wall needs to be checked. The restroom unit would need to be serviced on a monthly basis or so to make sure all that stuff is running well. And if anything needs to be changed out, filters, bags, supplies, et cetera, that can be accommodated.
What do you say is the most innovative or unique aspect of this solution?
It's got to be transient. So it's really meant for short term. It's got to be a public-private partnership, I think that can survive not just based on people donating money, but that using it in beneficial commercial situations helps one of those societal problems that we're currently facing. The belief that those around you, your neighbors, your community, believe in you and want to help you get from where you're at to something better. We've got some contractors that we've worked with on some of our commercial projects. We've pulled this apart a little bit. We've got them working on some pricing of the different pieces and parts in order to pull it together. So really we need a pro forma for this. I need to be able to take this unit and go to whoever runs Coachella or Outlands and be able to say, here's what it looks like, here's what it costs, here's 1 unit, here's 10 units, here's the production time, all of that. And so when we pull that pro forma together, that's part of what we need, I think, to go out and market it and go from this conceptual stage to built stage rapidly.
Awesome. David, thank you for the tour.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.